about changes and how to influence and make the year better, but we're also going to talk about how the past doesn't have to influence what's happening now, the future. So with us today, of course, Motivational Monday, Donna, Krech. And how's this going to happen? This sounded complicated to me.
I know. When I said your past doesn't determine your future, you're like, oh, okay, that sounds really complicated. But the bottom line is today we're just going to talk about believing it. Okay? So I'm going to start off with a very unique story to make the point. Okay. Bessie Braddock was a member of Parliament when Winston Churchill served. Now, it is no shock to anyone that Winston Churchill was a big drinker. He was a big drinker. Well, finally, one day, Bessie Braddock had it with him. And she said to him, "Sir, you are disgustingly drunk." And this is, everybody knows this story, right? He looked at her and said, "Well, madam, you are disgustingly ugly. And tomorrow I shall be sober, but you shall still be ugly." Now, a lot of people have taken that story and done a lot of things with it. But the bottom line is, your situation is usually temporary. It really is. Piles of debt, bad health, your career not being where you want it to be, your business not going in the direction you want it to go, even your family not being in the situation you would hope they'd be in. It really is temporary if you realize your past doesn't have to dictate your future. Now, it's important to make friends with your past. We'll talk about that in another segment. But I'm talking about what you believe to be your situation, the things that have occurred, your circumstances, right? He knew that he could wake up tomorrow, be sober, and do what he had to do in his position. You can change things. They're temporary. So I want to read a few things that I've written to just prove this. Richard Branson was a horrible student. He was straddled with dyslexia in a time when learning disabilities weren't understood, much less properly dealt with. He was labeled slow and stupid by his teachers, yet went on to become a serial entrepreneur, a billionaire. As a child growing up, Oprah Winfrey was repeatedly molested by her cousin, uncle, and a friend of their family. She eventually ran away from home and gave birth to a baby boy at 14 years of age. That baby boy died shortly after being born. You would hardly think someone with that kind of background would go on to become one of the wealthiest, most influential people of our time. Beethoven started losing his hearing at age 26 and was completely deaf by 44. In a letter to his doctor, he wrote, "If I belonged to any other profession, it would be easier. But in my profession, it is a frightful state." Depending entirely on memory and the vibrations of the piano, he composed the best compositions without being able to hear a single one of the notes.
Isn't that amazing?
I think we just need to remember, Holly, that our situations really are temporary. And over these few weeks, we've talked about words and investing in time with people that we aspire to copy part of what they've achieved. I think we need to realize our situations are temporary. We're not stuck, but we can feel stuck sometimes. And that's a word, right? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm never going to get out of this situation. This is my lot in life. This is where my family's always been. I'm not educated. I don't have money. We can force ourselves to stay stuck when we're not stuck at all. We need to realize our situations are temporary. So again, I'm going to go back to health, time, love, relationships, money, career or business, your walk with God. I'm just going to say, where do you want to be? Where you're at is temporary. Tomorrow is a different place. Thinking about these stories, it doesn't matter what you were labeled with or even what you thought about yourself yesterday. Determine what you want tomorrow to be, because these guys proved the situation did not determine where they were going to end up.
Wow, very inspirational. Thank you very much. All right, don't go away. First Edition continues in a moment.